So, what was the alternative? There was no replacement. It was just to get rid of the police, or was it to actually defund them, or what were we targeting with defunding? Say we got rid of the police, like Minneapolis, Minneapolis, where they got rid of their the whole police, the whole department, and it got the crime got so bad there that they did another vote shortly after, like 3 months after, to bring back the police, and it wasn't even close. I mean, I think 37% said no, and it was probably the ones committing the crime. But I mean, you can expect chaos if you defund the police. It will get bad if people have no fear of authority or consequences for their action. They will take advantage. Say you want to defund them, even if um, black on black crime, murders or homicides or crime is way higher. I mean, by the thousands higher than police on black. Say we want to actually defund the police. I mean, what are we targeting here? Are we targeting the actual police officers, their pay, their pensions, or their benefits? I mean, we're gonna make it as hard where nobody wants to be a police officer. We already know that they don't make much, so let's target their pay or something like that. Even though we want McDonald's workers to make $15 an hour, right? Okay, so that's dumb. So let's target the police department. Well, you don't target that first. If you do target the police department, that's not what you hit first. You will hit units, right? Like gang units, um, homicide units, drug units. So now you have a bigger gang influence and more murders that will go unsolved, as if there's not enough already. More murders that'll go unsolved. So no more First 48, no more CSI, and then you have more drugs, more fentanyl hitting the streets. So more kids are overdosing. Um, so that's you know sound good, right? If we do target the police department, we get rid of units, right? Also, as well as youth cadet programs, the DARE programs, all of that's gone. Say we do target the police department, well, you end up like mini. I said that twice, like Minneapolis. It will get bad. So they gave no alternative either. We let the people decide. We let the people be the authority. Well, that that won't work. Um, it's just gonna be like Chicago. When you killed my homie, now I gotta kill your homie, maybe even your grandmother or your wife or your kids, and then now you gotta do mine too. It's never ending. I mean, there's a specific system here with the with the courts, and the whole process was set up by genius men who made it to where your rights were given to you by God so that they can't be taken away by humans. So if we let the people decide, I mean, chaos. I mean, you can expect chaos. I mean, through the whole thing, there was nothing good about defunding the police. Nothing good happened. Even in Pomona, California, where they got rid of the security guards in their schools because they didn't want people in there with guns. Well, guess what? There were more kids that came to school with guns, and then they had to hire more. They had to hire security back. Then they hired more security because it got out of control. And this happened in two different schools in California. I tell people to pay attention because California and New York are test states. They often try these things and then they'll propose them to other states and it'll get passed through usually Democrat states. But okay. So defunding the police, right? Um, Good idea. No, we should we should do it. Let's say that the actual leftist agenda to defund the police goes through. This is the big one. Would the plan would be to fully federalize the police, right? So now they're no longer under the authority of cities or states. They're under the authority of the commander in chief, your savior Joe Biden, whose military is pretty mad at him. But it'll essentially be under the same authority where he has of the military. And you don't want that. I don't want that. The police don't want that. So if there was ever a problem with training, would it make sense to make sure that their funding, proper funding, goes into proper training so that we have none of these issues that made all of this jump off? Okay, but where do we get the funding? Right, so they don't really get it from as much as you think from government funding. Police get their funding from arrests or taking somebody's possessions. If you get caught with you get your car towed, you get caught with drugs, and now you're going away for some time. They'll take your cars, illegal guns that you may have, and they will auction those off if they're clean enough to. They'll auction them off, and they'll get the money that way. Drugs or illegal guns that can't be cleaned, or counterfeit money, stuff like that, will be sold to the FBI, and they'll get the money that way. So I don't know. Maybe if you want to defund the police, then uh, quit quit committing crimes. I mean, that might help too. Um, but I mean, all in all, it's really stupid to even consider that it would even be a good idea. I mean, it would affect the very same people the most that they're talking about. I mean, poor and black and brown community. I mean, that's exactly who it would target. Chicago. I mean, do you think that we should get rid of the police in Chicago, or do you think we should increase the police in Chicago? I mean, ask the mothers who if they're tired of losing their sons, or I mean, everybody's getting it nowadays. It's pretty bad. And if you defund the police, it'll only get much worse. Look at California, where they're making laws where people can now, I mean, do crime free. I mean, it's a horrible and stupid agenda, a very bad narrative pushed by the media, and uh, you know, I, it really sucks because we're supposed to trust these people, and they don't give us certain information, like the police on black versus black on black video that I made. There's some good information in there, but I mean, it's just really stupid.